Before we begin, let me ask you something that might hit deeper than you expect. How many women have you crossed paths with at a bar, a grocery store, a coffee shop, a friend's gathering, thinking nothing was happening while she was silently hoping you'd notice her? Not chasing you, not calling you over, but inviting you in a language most men never learn to read. Tonight, I'm going to expose that hidden language because it's one of the most misunderstood dynamics between men and women. Most guys believe women simply wait to be approached. But the truth is much darker, much more psychological. Women don't wait. They signal subtly, strategically, like a quiet Morse code of attraction. And if you can't read these signals, you've already missed women who are genuinely interested in you. So, let me take you inside the mind of a woman. How she thinks, what she feels, and the silent strategies she uses when she wants you to be the one to approach. This is dark psychology, and I'm Amelia. Let's decode the truth. 1. She places herself in your line of sight. Over and over, listen carefully, because this is one of the easiest clues to miss. When a woman wants to be noticed, she won't appear desperate. She won't suddenly appear right in front of you like a rom-com moment. No. What she does is far more controlled, far more deliberate. She positions herself in the spaces you're naturally going to look toward. It might be walking by your table twice. It might be choosing a spot near you when there were 10 other open places. It might be lingering in your periphery, pretending to check her phone, pretending to browse a shelf, pretending she just happens to be standing there. But here's the truth. There is no coincidence in repeated proximity. Women know exactly what they're doing. She's testing something. She's watching how you react. She's creating a natural environment where eye contact can happen without her breaking social rules or taking the first step. To a trained eye, this is not passive behavior. It's a strategy. A woman who hides doesn't want to be approached. A woman who places herself where you can see her again and again is telling you, I'm here, I'm open, you're allowed to notice me. And that tiny psychological shift is what separates the men who get the opportunity from the men who walk right past it. 2. She touches her hair when you're near, and not by accident. This move is so classic, so ancient that some men write it off as cliché, but clichés only exist because they work. When a woman adjusts her hair, flipping it, tucking it, running her fingers through it, while you are within noticing distance, she's doing 2 things at once. She's enhancing her appearance and she's signaling awareness. Hair movement is one of the strongest feminine cues because it draws the eye. Motion, softness, grooming, it's like a visual whisper saying, I see you, I want to look good around you. And here's something deeper. Women rarely touch their hair like this around men they feel nothing for. It's too intentional, too revealing, too evolutionary. If she's adjusting her hair only when you're nearby, if she suddenly becomes more animated, more graceful, more mindful of her appearance, she's not just fixing her hair, she's trying to get your eyes on her. And trust me, she knows you're watching. But here's where things get interesting. Most men think attraction begins after the conversation. But for women, attraction begins long before a single word is spoken. Women create the environment. Men walk into it or miss it completely. And the next signals, they're even harder to spot, but impossible to misinterpret once you know them. Now that we've decoded the first 2 signals, it's time to go deeper into the psychological mechanics of female attraction. Because women don't simply hope you'll talk to them, they engineer the opportunity. Most men will never realize this, but you're here and you're about to learn how these subtle moves reveal desire long before a single word is spoken. Let's continue. And 3. She makes herself physically accessible. You ever notice how some women seem to be surrounded by a barrier, arms crossed, friends huddled around them, body angled away, face buried in her phone? That's not a woman sending signals. That's a woman protecting her space. A woman who wants to be approached creates the opposite atmosphere, an invisible but intentional openness. She positions herself slightly away from the crowd. She angles her body toward the room, not the wall. She keeps her hands free, her phone down, her posture welcoming. This is not random. This is strategy, because deep down, women know something men often forget. Approaching a woman is intimidating. Most men hesitate, not because they're weak, but because women are increasingly guarded. So, when a woman genuinely wants to be approached, she lowers the social threat level. She creates what psychologists call approachability cues. She might stand with enough space beside her for someone to step in, lean on a counter instead of locking herself in a circle of friends, keep her shoulders relaxed, not tense, face outward instead of inward. Each of these behaviors communicates, you won't be intruding, I'm open to a conversation. A woman who wants nothing from you, she'll subconsciously build walls. A woman who's interested, she quietly opens a door and waits to see if you walk through it. 4, her voice shifts when you're nearby. This one is subtle and incredibly revealing. When a woman knows you're close, when she senses your presence, her voice will often change without her realizing it. Not dramatically, not in a cartoonish way, but in a barely noticeable, psychologically charged way. Her tone becomes slightly more animated, her laugh becomes a little brighter, her conversations become just loud enough for you to hear. It's not about attention seeking, it's about contrast. She wants you to notice she's there. Not by staring at you, but by creating a little spark of energy in the space you share. This is especially powerful when she wasn't talking much before you arrived. She starts telling a more interesting part of the story when you get close. Her friends laugh harder, or the vibe around her shifts. She suddenly seems more alive, more expressive, more fun. Women amplify their presence around men they want to attract. It's instinctive. It's primitive. It's one of the oldest social displays in human history. She's showing you without saying a word that I'm social, I'm warm, I'm someone worth getting to know. And here's the psychological twist. If she becomes quieter when you leave that area, the signal becomes twice as strong. And if you think that was subtle, wait until you see the next sign. Because the next signal is the one women swear they're not doing on purpose. But their eyes betray them every single time. It's the sign that melts hesitation, removes doubt, and tells you she's inviting you to make the first move. It's the one behavior that once you see it, you'll never unsee again. Get ready, because the next part exposes the universal signal of interest women use no matter their age, personality, culture, or background. We've reached the point where the signals shift from subtle to undeniable. Because when a woman is truly interested, when she's past curiosity and moving into genuine desire, her eyes begin to reveal everything her words won't say. And this one signal, it's so universal that if you miss it, you're missing the clearest doorway into a woman's attraction. Let's dive in. 5. She gives you lingering eye contact, then looks away with a smile. There's a reason this one feels cinematic. Because it is. You know that moment in movies where the world seems to slow down, sound fades, and 2 characters lock eyes from across the room? Yeah, that wasn't written out of fantasy. It was based on human instinct. Women use eye contact the way men use words. It's their first communication, their first risk, their first reveal. Here's how the pattern works. She looks at you, she holds the gaze longer than normal, then she breaks eye contact with a small, soft smile. This isn't accidental, this isn't coincidence, this isn't just being friendly, this is psychology. The lingering gaze says, I see you. The hold says, I'm comfortable noticing you. The smile says, now come closer. That tiny smile is the final green light. It's her saying without words, the ball is in your court. And here's something deeper, something most men don't know. Women repeat this signal. If she does it once, it might be curiosity. If she does it twice, it's interest. If she does it 3 times, she is practically writing your name in the air and waiting for you to read it. But here's where the dark psychology kicks in. A woman will never use this signal toward a man who intimidates her in the wrong way. She won't risk eye contact with someone she finds threatening, boring, or unattractive to her. So, if she gives you this moment, this quiet, intimate micro-connection, she has already made a decision about you. It's not random, it's not playful, it's not meaningless, it's intentional. She's chosen you, 6. She mirrors your movements from a distance. This is one of the most powerful subconscious signs of attraction, rooted deep in human bonding psychology. And what makes it so fascinating is that she doesn't even realize she's doing it. Mirroring is an unconscious alignment behavior. It's the body's way of saying, I feel connected to you before we've even spoken. Here's how it shows up. You shift your weight. A moment later, she shifts hers. You pick up your drink. Soon after, she picks up hers. You cross your arms, lean, adjust, glance, and she subtly echoes the rhythm of your movements. It's not mimicry, it's synchronization. Humans naturally mirror people they feel safe with, people they admire, people they're drawn to. But when a woman mirrors you before you've even said a single word, that is pure, raw, unfiltered attraction. And here's the dark part. She doesn't know it's happening. Her conscious mind is silent. Her subconscious is doing the talking. On some level, she's aligning herself with you, creating rapport before you've earned it, matching your energy before you've offered a single line of conversation. It's her body preparing for closeness. This is the moment where she goes from curious to invested. But the last signal, the final one, is the most powerful because it's the only one that requires effort. It's the sign that exposes everything. Attraction, intent, desire, and the willingness to create a moment that you can step into. This one signal is the closest thing women have to saying, please talk to me. And most men don't even notice it. Now, I'll reveal the 7th and final behavior, the one that doesn't just signal interest, but engineers the perfect chance for you to make your move. We've peeled back layer after layer of hidden female psychology. But now we reach the signal that reveals everything. A woman might subtly move into your line of sight. She might touch her hair. She might make herself approachable, shift her voice, mirror your movements, hold eye contact. But the last behavior, this is where she drops subtlety and steps into intent. This is the signal that requires her to take a small social risk, a carefully engineered micro moment meant to make your move easier, safer, smoother. Let's break down the final clue. 7. She creates accidental reasons to be near you or interact indirectly. Now listen closely because this is the moment men misunderstand the most. Women rarely approach first, not because they're passive, but because they're strategic. Instead of initiating the conversation outright, they create situations where interaction becomes almost inevitable. Situations that feel organic, even though they're anything but. She might step up to the bartender right after you do, not because she suddenly needed a drink, but because standing next to you gives her a shared moment of proximity. Ask a question loud enough for you to hear, not because she needs the answer, but because she's hoping you'll respond or pick up the thread. Pretend she needs to squeeze by you. Not because the room is crowded, but because brushing past you creates a spark of physical closeness. Insert herself into a conversation you're near, not because she's drawn to the topic, but because joining that circle brings her closer to you. Stand just close enough that you could easily make a remark, not because it's the most comfortable spot, but because she's giving you the perfect opening. These are not coincidences. These are not random encounters. These are invitations disguised as circumstances. Women know exactly how to engineer openings. They know how to create micro moments where you can naturally engage without awkwardness, without pressure, without rejection lingering in the air. The psychology behind this is powerful. She is reducing your fear of approaching, not because you're weak, not because you're unsure, but because society has created an environment where men hesitate more than ever. A woman who likes you understands this. So she creates a moment where you don't have to be the bold hero. You just have to follow the opening she provides. Here's what's even more fascinating. Women only do this when they feel safe with you before you've even spoken. Her instincts pick up on your energy, your posture, your facial expression. Something about you tells her, I'm interested, but I need you to help me feel safe making the first move. So she does. She gives you a path, a soft landing, an excuse to approach without the pressure of being forward. And the moment you recognize that path, something incredible happens. You stop hesitating. You stop overthinking. You start acting with confidence because now you know she's open. Let me ask you something personal, something real. How many times in your life have you missed these signals? How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because you never learned this silent language? A woman walked away thinking you weren't interested while you walked away thinking she wasn't. Two people wanting the same moment, but neither understanding the other's signals. This happens every single day. Men aren't clueless. Women aren't complicated. The problem is the invisible communication happening beneath the surface. Communication you were never taught to read until now. Because once you understand these 7 behaviors, once you learn to decode them, you suddenly step into a world where attraction is no longer a guessing game. It becomes a conversation without words, a quiet dance of psychology and instinct. And the men who learn this language, they stop chasing, they stop forcing, they stop guessing, they start recognizing, and recognition changes everything. You've seen all 7 signals, but now we need to go deeper into the meaning underneath them, because these behaviors aren't random tricks and they're not games. They are the psychological pathways women use to bridge the distance between you and them without ever taking the first step. And once you understand why, everything suddenly makes sense. The hidden truth behind these signals: most men think women don't make the first move because they're uninterested. Wrong. Women don't make the first move because they're vulnerable. Every approach a woman makes risks judgment, rejection, misunderstanding, or appearing too forward in a world that punishes them socially for it. So instead of approaching, they invite. Instead of chasing, they position. Instead of walking up, they create moments. And here's the deeper truth no one talks about. These signals are not passive, they are courageous. A woman who puts herself in your line of sight, a woman who reveals her face with a smile, a woman who mirrors your energy, a woman who gives you that engineered moment to step in. She is taking emotional risks you will never see. She is saying, I'm interested, but I need to feel safe. I want you, but I need you to meet me halfway. That's why decoding these signals matters so much. Not for manipulation, not for ego, but because it allows you to understand when a woman is genuinely opening the door for you, a door she might have been terrified to open in any other way. Why most men miss these signals? Not because they're blind, not because they're slow, but because men are taught to look for obviousness while women communicate through subtlety. Men wait for boldness. Women send nuance. Men look for green lights that flash like neon. Women offer soft, deliberate signals that whisper instead of shout. And here's the painful part. A woman rarely repeats the signals after being ignored. Not because she stops liking you, but because she assumes you don't like her back. She walks away thinking he wasn't interested, while you walk away thinking she never gave me a sign. 2 different realities, 1 lost moment. This video exists to stop that from happening, or the power of recognition. When you learn this silent language, when you begin to recognize these behaviors, you elevate yourself above the average man. You stop relying on luck. You stop being confused. You stop missing opportunities that were right in front of you. You start acting with clarity, confidence, and calm presence. Think about this the next time you're out. If she positions herself near you, if her voice shifts, if her eyes linger, if she mirrors you, if she creates an opening, if the universe coincidentally places her in your path twice, it's not the universe, it's her. Women don't leave things to chance when they genuinely want to be noticed. They make the moment possible, but you make the moment real. So, the next time you're out, the next time a woman keeps drifting into your line of sight, the next time her smile feels like it's carrying a secret, pause, slow everything down, ask yourself, is she inviting me to speak, or am I ignoring a moment she's been building? Because somewhere right now, at a bar, a store, a quiet bookstore aisle, a coffee shop, a woman is sending these signals to a man who will never notice them. But you're not that man anymore. You see the psychology, you read the emotions, you understand the silent invitations. And that makes you dangerous in the smartest way. If this video opened your eyes, if it made you think, if it made you realize how many moments you might have missed, subscribe, because I'm Amelia. This is Dark Psychology, and I expose the hidden systems of human behavior most people never notice. If you want the complete dating intelligence system, the full breakdown of all 25 attraction signals, and the quick reference cheat sheet, check the link below. And remember, women don't wait, they invite. Smart men learn to see it. Smarter men act on it.